Tomorrow marks the 8th anniversary of the tragic events of September 11, 2001. We ask you to please rise as we present our nation's colors and welcome family members who lost loved ones on Flight 93, which crashed nearby in western Pennsylvania. To honor America, 3-time Grammy Award winner Harry Connick Jr. will now sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? God bless America.
Harry Connick Jr.
Terrible towels waved on this 68-degree evening in Pittsburgh. And just moments ago, down on the sideline, Andrea Kramer spoke with Steelers coach Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, the youngest head coach to ever win a Super Bowl. Now, with the energy and atmosphere tonight, motivation not an issue. But what's the message you've tried to hammer home to your team all week?
I've tried to simplify the message and say the same things over and over again. It's simple. Big men in blades of grass. This is a team that's built with their offense and defensive line. Our guys got to be up to the challenge. The turnover battle is going to be big. And quite frankly, hitting is going to be the deciding factor. The most violent team's going to win.
You were not the head coach the last time the team defended its Super Bowl title and ended up 8-8. So what do you think are the pitfalls of repeating, and how do you avoid them?
Actually, we're not here to repeat. We're here to pursue the championship like everybody else. What we've done in the past is in the past. The 08 Steelers are no different than the 74 Steelers as far as we're concerned. We respect what they did. We're trying to build our own legacy.
All right, Mike, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. And now on the injury front for the Steelers, no linebacker Lawrence Timmons. For the Titans, no rookie tight end Jared Cook. But they will have wide receiver Nate Washington back from a hamstring injury. He won't start, but they hope to get 35 plays out of him.
Thank you, Andrea. Nate Washington, and there he is on the bike. Was the number 3 receiver for the Steelers last year. Tennessee wants him to eventually be their number 1. Jeff Fisher, he's the dean. This is his 16th year and 15th full season as the Titans head coach. Took over when they were the Houston Oilers late in the 1994 season. And Tennessee won the toss, elected to defer, so they will kick off. Rob Baronis will send it skyward, and back deep to receive for the Steelers is their new return man, Stefan Logan, who's been a training camp sensation, played in the Canadian League with British Columbia last year, and he will run it back as the 2009 season is underway in Pittsburgh. Logan from the 3, cutting across the field, crowd on its feet to the 40, and a stirring run back to the 42-yard line, where he's forced out by Michael Griffin, a 40-yard run back to get it started as we take a look at the Steeler offense.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Willie Parker, Clinton High School.
Santonio Holmes, the Ohio State University. Hines Ward, Georgia.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Matt Spaeth, University of Minnesota.
Max Starks, Florida.
Chris Kimwauti, University of Utah.
Justin Hartwig, Western Wind Valley.
Trey Essex, Northwest.
Willie Colon, Austin University.
Steelers lining up in a double tight end set. They'll use 2 and 3 tight ends. A lot. Ward on a short pass to the outside, and Hines Ward, who is the MVP in the Super Bowl following the 05 season, making the catch there. That's a gain of 5. At the Titans last year in late December in a very big game which secured home field advantage for the Titans. There were the numbers for Roethlisberger. 329 through the air, but he was sacked 5 times and lost 2 fumbles. Parker and Frank Summers, the rookie 44, lines up at fullback on 2nd and 5. And they give it to Parker, who tries to get outside and cannot, because that's Stephen Tulloch, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. A loss of 3, 3rd down and 8.
Well, I think Mike Tomlin said it best. The most violent team will win this game. You can see the Titans already 8 guys up. They just are going to try and force this running game away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They want to put the ball in the hands of Ben Roethlisberger and take their chances with this great secondary that they have.
3rd and 8, and they bring in 4 receivers, including Lima Swede, their 2nd-year speedster, and the fastest guy on the team, the rookie Mike Wallace from Mississippi. And Roethlisberger with that classic pump fake deep downfield, and the pass is underthrown. Intended for Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace running about a 4.3 at the combine. Drafted in the 3rd round. They love him, but he's going to be a project and a guy who will see action from time to time, and he sees action right here.
You know, Al, I'm not so sure they weren't trying to hit Hines Ward on an out and up here. He pumped and then thought Hines was going to go up, and he ran into one of the Titans, Nick Harper. And it just so happened that Mike Wallace almost got there.
Daniel Sepulveda, who was hurt last year, is back after knee surgery, and that kick will be down inside the 5-yard line. So Sepulveda is able to pin the Titans deep. 54-yard punt, and let's take a look at the Titans offense as they come out onto the field.
Kerry Collins, Penn State.
Chris Johnson, East Carolina. Ahmad Hall, the one and only, University of Texas.
Justin Gage, University of Mizzou.
Kenny Britt, Rutgers.
Bo Skate, the real UT. Michael Roos, Eastern Washington.
Eugene Amano, Southeast Missouri State Union.
Kevin Mawai, Louisiana State University.
Jake Scott, Idaho. Dave Stewart, Mississippi State.
Excellent offensive line. Roos went to the Pro Bowl last year, 6'7", 315 on the left side, and there's no room at all. Probing the middle, Chris Johnson. And when you probe that middle, the first guy you run into is 98 Casey Hampton at 6'1", 325, who eats a lot of space up.
How'd you like to face the #1 ranked defense in every category? It'd take me a half an hour to go through all the things they were #1 in last season. Your first offensive series of the year, backed up with the terrible towels flying all around you.
2nd and 10 from the 2. Off play action. The pass is caught at the 6-yard line for a short gain. Paul, the fullback, Troy Polamalu, who of course will be all over the field tonight and every Sunday afternoon, making the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 6.
James Harrison almost gets there on the pressure, goes inside the tight end, and just barely gets nipped. Kerry Collins has enough presence to get back outside and barely get this thing inside Troy Polamalu.
If nothing else, the Titans have a little breathing space if they have to punt. Nate Washington sets up in the slot. Collins in the shotgun on 3rd and 6. And it's an inside handoff, and making the tackle is Polamalu. So he picks up right where he leaves off last year. Chris Johnson, the ball carrier. Polamalu comes flying into the backfield and knocks him down at his own 4-yard line.
Check out the speed of Troy Polamalu here. He was about 10 yards off the ball and absolutely ripped up and caught him in the backfield. Troy Polamalu runs about a 4.35. Besides being one of the biggest hitters, he's also one of the fastest defenders in this league.
He looked like he was in fast forward, and everybody else is regular speed. Craig Hentrick in his 16th year out of Notre Dame. This is Logan from the 46. And Logan, after that 40-yard run back on the opening kickoff, runs this one back 10 into Tennessee territory. Early first quarter, no score. here in Pittsburgh, and the commissioner is here tonight on opening night. Roger Goodell looking on, beginning his 4th year as the NFL commissioner, and watching the Steelers begin this drive at the Tennessee 43-yard line. Roethlisberger, a quick flip to the outside to Mike Wallace to the 40-yard line, gain of 3. Let's take a look at the Titans defense.
Javon Curse, Gator Nation.
Jason Jones, the Eastern Michigan Eagles.
Tony Brown, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Kyle Van Bosch, Nebraska.
David Thornton, North Carolina.
Stephen Tulloch, North Carolina State.
Keith Bullard, Cuse.
Nick Harper, Fort Valley State.
Michael Griffin, Texas.
Chris Hope, Florida State of the 90s.
Corlin Finnegan, Sanford.
We'll start putting up subtitles next week. 2nd and 7 to the outside. Holmes on a screen, and Holmes makes his first catch of the season. The Super Bowl MVP, the unforgettable catch in the back corner of the end zone, and that's a first down as he reaches the Tennessee 30-yard line.
Well, Heath Miller now has been the lead blocker several times so far on these quick screens. As long as the Titans want to play Cortland Finnegan 10 yards off the ball against Santonio Holmes, they're just going to raise up and do this. This is already the second one they've tried. And Heath Miller, you can't convince anybody in Pittsburgh that he's not the best tight end in the NFL.
Beautifully designed play. Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator. Back to the ground they go. Willie Parker goes nowhere. The Tennessee defense, especially up front, they're minus the guy, Albert Hainsworth, who signed with Washington for what they said is $100 million. It's about 40 guaranteed, and we'll see about the rest as he goes along. But the Titans tend to downplay that a little bit. Not to diminish him, and there's Chuck Cecil, the new defensive coordinator, but they rotate a lot of guys along that defensive front. 2nd down and 11. They play a base 4-3. Screen set up inside, and that's the tight end. That's Heath Miller, and he's close to a first down. He's tackled by the ex-Steeler, Chris Hope. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the Tennessee 22.
On that play, David Thornton, the linebacker, had man coverage, and yet he's going to get picked off the tight end with the pass protection coming out there towards him. You can see him. He's charging up and trying to make the play, and Willie Colon just picks him off the man coverage. That's why they created such a big play.
Now you've got Holmes and Ward stacked on the left side. Willie Parker is the sole back. Miller on a wing to the right. Roethlisberger to the air. Moving to his left. Avoids a sack. Classic bend. Tries to come back the other way, and this time they finally get him. And that's Jason Jones, who last year when Hainsworth was hurt in the Pittsburgh game and on the bench, Jones had 3.5 sacks, so he picks up where he left off last December in Nashville.
He's going to end up working against Trey Essex, the new guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming inside, almost gets him the first time. Hustles, gets back on his feet, and comes back and falls right back into Ben. You know Ben's not going to stop running around. Big play for the Titans.
That is a 19-yard sack to take it from 3rd and 2 to 4th and 21. Sepulveda's kick hangs. Fair catch called for by Cortland Finnegan, who will run back punch tonight for Tennessee. And the Titans will take over at that spot. 8:20 to go in the quarter. Sunday Night Football Extra on NBCSports.com and NFL.com. From the 11-yard line on first down, Collins is going to hand the ball to Johnson. Johnson will cut back the other way, and the speedy Johnson with a first down and a lot more. And Troy Polamalu finally chases him down along the sideline, and we have our first penalty flag of the game. Bill Levy is the referee. For the moment, it's a 32-yard gain.
After the runner was out of bounds. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 43 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that is Polamalu, so it's 32 plus the foul.
Well, this is what makes Chris Johnson just so dangerous. No way in the world you think he can get all the way back to the outside. Back in the back, Ryan Clark thought he had it contained. He simply didn't. And don't forget, Troy Polamalu is still angry that Chris Johnson in their game last year stuffed the ball in his face as he was crossing the goal line. That may be a little retribution there.
From the 42 now, Collins slings it over the middle, and wide open is the tight end, Bo Scaife, who takes it to the 22-yard line. Polamalu in on that tackle as well. So that's a gain of 20 yards and a first down.
The one thing that when you talk to the Titans about playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, they felt like their tight ends could have a big day. They caught 7 passes the last time these two teams got together, and that was a game in which the Titans handled the Steelers pretty easily.
From the 22, they give it to Johnson. He gets a nice block. And then a short gain to the short side of the field, taken down by Ryan Clark. So 3 big plays in a row. The 19-yard sack of Roethlisberger, then the run by Johnson, and the personal foul, and the pass to Scaife.
Well, the one thing, if you're a Titans fan, that's exciting here is that they're making some plays on the edge. That time, Bo Scaife and Algie Crumpler, excellent blocks to be able to set the edge. 2 times now they've gotten outside this defense, and that's hard to do.
And they have a rookie tight end who's hurt, won't play tonight, but you hear a lot about Jared Cook before this season is done. 2nd and 7. Great protection for Collins. And then the pass is dropped, and that's Algie Crumpler, the veteran tight end. Crumpler in his 9th year out of North Carolina, former Falcon. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, and Algie's really become much more of a blocker, kind of a dominant blocker in many ways, which was surprising because he really was just a receiver when the earlier part of his career. But now's when it gets interesting when you play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now's when you see all of Dick LeBeau's zone blitzes. Here it comes.
3rd and 7 out of the shotgun. 5-man rush. Collins to the outside, and Polamalu is all over Scaife that time. It's incomplete, and it will be 4th down and 7.
Troy Polamalu is simply flying around the field. You see him right there in the middle, but watch him close on this. I mean, that was a good 7-8 yards of separation as they try to just get it out to the tight end and let him break a tackle, but Polamalu has just been everywhere tonight.
37-yard attempt for one of the best kickers in the league, Rob Baronis. Craig Hentrick to hold, and the kick is no good. Baronis misses from 37 with 6:44 to go in the opening quarter. Still 0-0. Only 4 of 72 field goal attempts from inside 40. He misses there. This is a tough place to kick field goals, but not particularly so tonight. I mean, it's a little windy, but for the most part, the weather is not a factor. Rashard Mendenhall is the running back, and right off the bat, his first carry of the year is a mistimed handoff. Mendenhall was their #1 pick out of Illinois last year, got hurt early in the season, put on injured reserve, and they expect to use him a lot more this year if he can stay healthy.
Not exactly a confidence builder for your first carry of the season. They definitely would like to work him in so Willie Parker doesn't get overused, but if you're going to take out your quarterback, probably not going to play so much.
2nd and 9. Miller sets up as the fullback. They'll try it again, and this time Mendenhall will be wrestled down up at the 30-yard line by the outside linebacker Keith Bullock.
Boy, Keith Bullock that time, it looked like he was going to be trapped by Heath Miller, and he just fought right through that block, took Heath Miller apart, and then caught the back. Big time play that time by Bullock. Watch him coming right here. It's like he's going to get trapped, slips inside, and grabs Mendenhall.
Now Mewelde Moore, who did a great job last year, because Parker got hurt and Mendenhall got hurt. He's their 3rd down back. Mewelde Moore flanking Roethlisberger in the backfield. Here they come on an all-out blitz, and down goes Ben again. And that's Tony Brown, one of the guys taking the place of the departed Albert Haynesworth. Tony Brown, 5th year out of Memphis, with the 2nd Tennessee sack of Roethlisberger tonight.
Albert Haynesworth, who this defensive line is playing great right in the middle here. Just comes right between. They try to slide that line left, and Max Starks had too many people to try and block, so it has been the blitz of the Titans that's been paying off so far.
9-yard sack. Now Sepulveda's kick. will bounce at about the 45-yard line, and that'll look real good on the stat sheet with about a 20-yard roll as well to the 26-yard line. 54-yard boot. Still no score. Tonight right here on NBC. Lendale White comes into the game. He and Johnson together gained 2,000 yards on the ground last year. The fake to him, he stays in the block. The pressure is on Collins, who gets it away, hits Scaife, and Scaife is able to pick up maybe a first down, close to it, as Farrier makes the stop.
Well, let's go back to a prior series. Watch Troy Polamalu. We talked about how fast he's been playing. 14 yards off of where he makes this hit. Closes and catches one of the fastest backs in the league in the backfield. Pretty impressive stuff.
9 offensive plays for Tennessee. Polamalu has been in on 4 tackles. 1st and 10 from the 36. Flag is thrown, and wide open is Justin Gage, who was their leading wideout last year, but Bill Levy's crew throwing the flag. 2nd penalty of the night.
William Gay got completely turned around, the new starting quarterback.
Illegal formation. Number 76 offense was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Right tackle David Stewart.
Well, they don't like to give these offensive tackles an advantage. Was he too far back off the line of scrimmage there? One of those you'll remember it next time kind of deals. The right tackle. That is a big penalty. That's expensive. But I've got to think the Titans are thrilled with where they are in this game right now. It looked like they were going to be backed up. It looked like the Steelers defense was going to dominate, and yet they've done some pretty good things, just missed the field goal.
1st and 15. The ball is at the 31-yard line. And Collins throws, and that is caught as they go to Scaife again. So Scaife and Crumpler are the tight ends, and we talked about Cook. That's Ke'Aaron Fox making the tackle, taking the place of the injured Lawrence Timmons. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
You know, Kerry Collins has had a lot of success against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3-0 lifetime, and last season he was tremendous when these two teams played. 102 quarterback rating. No other quarterback all season had over 100 rating. So you can see that Kerry has a plan against these guys.
Pretty fascinating career arc for Kerry Collins. He played his college ball at Penn State. He hands the ball off to Lendale White, and that'll make it 3rd down. Collins went to Carolina when they came into the league in '95 and became their starting quarterback about a month into the season after Frank Reich was the quarterback. Took him to the championship game, the NFC championship game in '96. Had problems there, went to New Orleans for a while, played with the Giants, led them to the Super Bowl in 2000, then to Oakland. And when he got released by Oakland after the '05 season, he thought his career might be over. But Fisher called, he goes to Tennessee, and here he is, reborn. 3rd and 3. And that pass is caught for a first down by Gage. And of course, one of the reasons he's reborn is that Vince Young had his problems last year emotionally and in terms of injury. That gave Collins the opportunity to play on opening day. He kept the job.
Yeah, he is absolutely the man, and so far the Pittsburgh Steelers are making this pretty easy on him. We're not seeing all the blitzing that we typically see on 3rd down, which allows some double teaming going on. And I think what's happening is the Titans are leaving so many people in the block. Titans tight ends are just simply making the difference up front.
You saw Young on the split screen, and then the pass is caught over the middle, and getting away from an initial tackle is Lendale White, and Lendale White picks up about 5. Lendale White a lot thinner. He's lost 40 pounds. So how did he do it? He likes to say he gave up tequila. If you can lose 40 pounds giving up tequila, I'm going to get on tequila so I can get off of it. Jeff Fisher told us last night it's really just it's a combination of that and not going to In-N-Out anymore.
You could carry around a couple of cases of tequila and not lose that much.
Right. Leads me to Sean Merriman, but then again, forget that. 2nd down and 5. Here's Collins back to pass again. Going deep downfield into traffic, and what an interception, one-handed by Troy Polamalu. And he takes it back to the 20-yard line. That is amazing. but then again, it's Polamalu. If a guy can make the Pro Bowl after the first quarter of the first game of the season, but it may have already happened.
He's a freak, and I mean that is high praise. That was spectacular.
It's 1st and 10 now for Pittsburgh at the 21-yard line. Tennessee has gained 92 yards in the quarter, and Pittsburgh -2. And now they'll get back to 0 as Willie Parker gains 2 and is tackled by Tulloch.
Polamalu with 7 interceptions last year. He's made 5 straight Pro Bowls. Kenny Britt, the rookie, coming down the field, and he's going to say, nobody ever did this in college to me. He even pushed off on the play. Watch this. He's going to push him in the back and still come away with the interception and jump up and get ready to run. He was fired up with good reason for this one. We'll show you in a minute why.
They go 4 wide to the Steelers here on 2nd down and 8, including Swede and the rookie Wallace along with Holmes and Ward. Inside handoff, and Parker starts to trip as he gets to the line of scrimmage, and Chris Hope comes up to make the tackle. And here's one reason why Polamalu was fired up, Chris.
In the game last year, this was really the game-winning play to Chris Johnson. But watch him stick the ball in the face of Troy Polamalu as he's going in the end zone. And they've talked a lot about the fact that the Titans players stepped on the terrible towels and all that. They said that didn't mean anything. But when you stick the ball in the face of this guy, you better be ready for a football game the next time they see you. And boy, it has been all that and more so far tonight.
3rd and 7. Noeldi Moore, 3rd down back is in. Roethlisberger down the right sideline. That's going to be picked off at the 43-yard line, and that's Vincent Fuller who picks it off. The nickelback, and Santonio Holmes was the intended receiver. So Collins gets picked, and then on the very next series, Ben gets picked.
He's going to overthrow Santonio Holmes here going to the corner route, but he just throws this way late. He throws it after the break, never looks off Fuller at all. Just one of those early season nervous kind of throws. You know, the thing that Ben has developed over the past couple of years has been the pump fakes, the looking off of the defenders, and Ben saying, what is going on with that? But really, that was Ben Roethlisberger's mistake.
From the 44, and the quarter will end here on a 1-yard run by Chris Johnson. So a lot of action, but no scoring. After 1, opening night 2009, Titans nothing, Steelers nothing, and this NFL kickoff special continues after these messages. From Pittsburgh is being brought to you by Duracell. Start the 2nd quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer, opening night. Very interesting first quarter. A lot of action. Tennessee with 93 yards, Pittsburgh with 1, each quarterback with a pick. 1 field goal by Baronis missed. And we start the 2nd quarter on the 2nd and 9 from the Pittsburgh 43-yard line. Collins out in the flat. And that's Johnson escaping a tackle, and Johnson picking up a 1st down. That was Lamar Woodley, the outside linebacker, who was one-on-one with him and couldn't bring him down.
Nobody can bring this guy down one-on-one. Lamar Woodley, one of the better tacklers in the NFL, gets Chris Johnson. This is perfectly defensive. You draw it up on a blackboard, we got him, right? No, we don't got him there. Chris Johnson, 4.28, something like that. One of the fastest times ever at the NFL Combine. Deadly in the open field.
Even quicker, 4.24 was his time, and had a fabulous rookie year. From the 33-yard line, Johnson again. And one reason that Tennessee didn't make it to the championship game last year, in addition to turning the ball over, and there was a screw up with the clock in the Baltimore game at Tennessee, was Johnson got hurt in that game.
No question about it. Well, I tell you what, he got introduced to James Harrison on that one, didn't he? Oh boy, Michael Ruse thought he had him blocked, and James Harrison, the defensive MVP, just threw him out of the way and crunched Chris Johnson.
Still shaking his head. And coming free that time was Woodley. Woodley was unblocked, and it was all Collins could do to get the ball away. It almost looked as if Johnson was still a little woozy from the earlier hit by Harrison, and Woodley comes in uncontested.
Yeah, Chris Johnson's going to try and get out on the screen. He needed to make a little contact here with Woodley, though. You could see he missed the block, and so Kerry Collins didn't have a chance to get it off. You've got to make some contact before you slip out in the screen. 3rd and 12, look out now.
34-yard line. Here they come again, and it's Farrier through the middle that time. Dick LeBeau with about 6,000 schemes. Farrier comes a little late, comes through the middle, comes in basically unblocked with a big sack, setting up a 4th and 22.
And they love this crossing action blitz right here. James Farrier, when he gets running, is one of the faster linebackers around. He says he loves it when just the back blocks him. Well, that time he had less than that.
Hentrick to punt. Stefan Logan sets up inside the 10-yard line. Logan's going to call for a fair catch and make it at the 5. So Roethlisberger and company will start at their own 5. 13:04 to the half. 0-0. Miami of Ohio. He's from the town of Findlay, Ohio. What's he done over his first 5 seasons? 51 wins. No quarterback in the history of the league has won more over the first 5. Brady has 9 postseason wins. Ben already has 8. And in the first 5 seasons, Brady with 3 Super Bowl wins. Troy Aikman had 2 in his first 5 years. And Ben, of course, has 2, beating Seattle after the 05 season, and then leading that tremendous drive at the end of the game to knock off the Cardinals in Tampa on February 1st. So the Steelers from the 5-yard line. Ben is 4 of 6 for 27 yards. But overall, they've gained 2 net yards. There have been 2 mammoth sacks. And Roethlisberger in the end zone with a pump fake and then throws over the middle to get some breathing room. And the pass is caught by Heath Miller, where he's tackled at the 13-yard line by Hope. Gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
You almost have to laugh, but Ben Roethlisberger will hold the ball anywhere, anytime. He's in the end zone, little pump fake, no problem. I know my guys have. He just has the incredible guts back there. He loves to hold the ball. He's not going to give up on a play. He takes more sacks than any quarterback in the league, and he doesn't care.
139 sacks in the last 3 years for him. And that Parker has nowhere to go. That defensive line doing a nice job. Javon Curse, already in his 11th year, came in known as the Freak as a rookie with Tennessee back in '99.
Watch all the gap play here. This is what the Titans are all about. They're going to fill every gap on you and just take away any possibility. That's the best running play the Steelers have to offer. When Chris Kamawatu pulls around there, that has been their bread and butter here for a long time. And right now, this Titans defensive line is just kicking this Steelers offensive line.
3rd down and 2. I didn't know where you were going there for a second, but that's good. Out of the shotgun, Roethlisberger. That's a 1st down. He hits Miller. So Miller with 2 grabs on this drive. And David Thornton is there to make the tackle. 11.5 to go on the half. 1st down.
If you think Ben's dangerous, you just started working with me.
An element of danger is always good.
Oh, boy.
Anything to keep an audience.
This is fun. You know, it's amazing for one of those games that no score, but they're getting after each other up front.
Yep. Plenty of excitement from the 21-yard line. 4-man rush. Roethlisberger steps up, fielding the pressure, and hits Santonio Holmes close to a 1st down. We'll see where they mark it. He thinks he's picked up the 1st, but the line judge comes in and says, a few inches shy. Cortland Finnegan makes the tackle, 2nd and inches.
Where right now, when you're talking about the Albert Haynesworth effect, this is where it comes into play. Look at all the space here between there and Ben Roethlisberger. When Albert Haynesworth was playing for the Titans, you would never see that. He would always get that kind of pressure and that kind of push and help those ends coming around the corner.
Second and inches from just outside the 30-yard line, and Parker has the first down. And Parker out to the 40-yard line. Flag is thrown. Matt Spaeth threw a nice block on that last play. Parker with a tender hamstring in training camp.
Holding. Number 86, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That negates that. Hines Ward with the penalty.
Hines Ward there just wrapped his arm around the neck of the defender. He's essentially a tight end. Let's face it, probably the greatest blocking wide receiver ever. Comes down and just grabs the helmet that time of one of the Titans, and a nice run gets called back. But at least now we've had a couple of plays in a row where the Steelers offensive line has looked good. I mean, those were good blocked, well blocked plays the last couple.
Take it down and 5.
Watch out for the blitz coming here. They're going in this spread formation. The Titans want to blitz this.
Second down and 6. The ball put back at the 25-yard line. Well, they go into coverage, and Roethlisberger is going to escape to his left and then throw on the run, and that's caught by Hines Ward. There's another flag down in the offensive backfield, and now they're going to say, among other things, Ward didn't make the catch, but a flag is all the way back at the 14-yard line. And that one's thrown by the referee himself, Bill Levy.
I think this is going to go against Max Starks, but not so
Holding.
sure.
Number 78, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Confirmed. Max Starks.
Now Max Starks is going to get his forearm to the neck of Ford coming around here, but I don't think that's a hold. I think that's just kind of a forearm to the neck. You see a hold there, Al?
No.
I don't either.
And Levy throws the flag. You can see Levy was about 10 yards from the play, so it had the look of a hold, but on the replay you can see it wasn't. Now it's 2nd and 16 from the 15-yard line. Then under pressure, hit as he throws and guns it into Santonio Holmes, who makes the catch in traffic for a first down on 2nd and 16. 18-yard pickup all the way out to the 33-yard line. Ben hanging in and rifling it as he gets hit by William Hayes on the release.
William Hayes with a great move against Willie Colon, in and out, and just is going to drill Ben as he lets it go. Look at the courage to stand in there, and what a catch by Santonio Holmes. Courage on both ends of that. You make that catch and you might get your head taken off.
At the 33-yard line with 9 minutes to go in the opening half. Parker. Nothing happening there. Willie Parker, undrafted, came out of North Carolina, really didn't have a chance to play that much in college, and the Steelers found him. And then, of course, comes to Pittsburgh, gets known as Fast Willie Parker, and comes in with Roethlisberger, and of course had that spectacular 75-yard run in the Super Bowl against Seattle to help lead them to the victory in Super Bowl 40. Second down and 9. Willie again. This time he has room to run, but Finnegan comes in to make the tackle. Well, nobody's going to win or lose the Super Bowl tonight, Chris, but what a great way to get it started. And of course, a lot of people thought, well, this was the way it was going to wind up last year in the AFC Championship game, with the game to be played at Nashville, but the Ravens had other ideas.
Yeah, and if you want to see a lot of points and a lot of touchdowns, catch us on Sunday night. We might have a few more for you when we go to Green Bay, but for right now, this is just a fist fight out here.
It's an odd thing to say. Chicago, Green Bay, tune in for a lot of points.
Yeah.
But that's the way it's shaping up. 3rd down and 5 from the 38-yard line. Roethlisberger. And that pass is into traffic and incomplete, and the coverage there by Michael Griffin on Mewelde Moore coming out of the backfield. You ever see a guy pump fake to the degree that Roethlisberger does? It's amazing he can hold on to the ball.
Absolutely never. The more tape I watch on this guy, it's just remarkable the ball doesn't come out of his hands. I don't think he has any extraordinarily big hands or anything, but he pump fakes so hard it makes defenders jump. He really used it to his advantage in the Super Bowl too.
Sepulveda kicking. Cortland Finnegan running back punts tonight, and he'll field this one along the sideline at the 16-yard line and run it back to the 28. Halfway through the second quarter, Tennessee nothing, Pittsburgh nothing on opening night. Night in America live from Lambeau. It begins at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and that means I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. And there's Faith Hill, Tim McGraw. Her husband performed at Point Park across the river. Part of the concert on opening night is Collins on first down. Gets flushed out and then just dumps it into his own bench. It'll be 2nd and 10. He was chased that time by Harrison.
Michael Roos this time is going to get a big piece of James Harrison and just sort of pull him around the corner. Harrison not too happy, talking to the officials as he was running over to the sideline, but he's getting close. Harrison is giving the Pro Bowler Roos all he can handle.
2nd and 10. Lendale White cuts it back, and the former USC Trojan up to the 31-yard line. Ke'Aaron Fox making the tackle as we tick down under 7 minutes. And the crowd is booing Lendale White because he was at the forefront of stomping on the terrible towels in Nashville last December.
And he didn't exactly apologize for it either, did he? He may want to get an escort out of here.
He said he would do it again. From the 31, 3rd down and 6. And over the middle, the catch is made by Nate Washington, the former Steeler who opted for free agency and the bigger contract, goes to Tennessee. He was questionable with the injury coming into the game. Game time decision, makes the catch in an 8-yard gain.
Yeah, and you really have to think of the Tennessee Titans sort of like the New York Giants. A season ago, they were a great running team, but they didn't have the receivers to threaten anybody down the field. They think Nate Washington will be that guy this year. They're sort of Plexico Burress, if you will.
Working through a hamstring pull. Makes the catch there. And here goes White again. Gain of 3. Talked about what happened last year. That was a huge game. It was going to determine home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. And when Tennessee had it wrapped up, they stomped on it. A couple of guys blew their nose in it. Then Chris Johnson had his own towel. All in good fun. 2nd and 7. Flag. Collins is going to unleash a bomb, and the flag, and Polamalu gets tied up with Justin Gage. Wow. So it looked like it might have been incidental contact. May have been more than that. But there are 2 flags now, one at the inception of the play and the other in the secondary.
Well, if they're going to call it on Polamalu, all they could call is a cutoff. In other words, if he is cutting off the route, that is on the defense. Otherwise, it has to be on the Titans.
There are fouls on both teams. Illegal formation. Wide receiver was not on the line of scrimmage. Pass interference. Number 43 defense. The penalty's offset. Replay 2nd down.
Polamalu is a veteran guy, and he thought he was in trouble there and just cut off Gage. 43 running right at the top. I don't think so. I think that is offensive all the way. I thought I was crazy. I just didn't see what I saw on the field. He turned his head. He was running and looking for the ball. That's just a bad call.
Turns out to be no harm, no foul because of the offsetting penalties. But Tomlin expressing his feelings about it.
Well, except that it would have been 3rd down in about a bunch now.
2nd and 7. The ball is at the 42-yard line. Collins slings it to the outside, and that catch is made along the sideline. That's a beautiful grab by Kenny Britt, the rookie, the #1 draft choice. There had never been a #1 pick from Rutgers until Britt. He's also the 2nd youngest player in the league. Won't turn 21 until next week.
And the Titans were trying to hustle up to the line, see if he gets his feet in bounds here. Yes, he did. Great catch. He has to maintain control. Yes, he did, all the way to the ground. And what did Jeff Fisher tell us about Kenny Brett? He said, he's too young to know what he's getting into. He'll be fine. Don't worry about him.
First catch of his career, good for 15 in the first down. And Collins is forced to throw that one away because it was Aaron Smith, 11th year defensive end, who's had a stellar career, who comes bursting through the line.
Yeah, the defensive ends for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for my money, and the entire defensive line, really, they don't get enough credit. They do all the dirty work. They try and absorb all the offensive linemen and let the linebackers make the play. Dick LeBeau, when you talk to him about his defense, he always brings up his defensive linemen first because they don't get a lot of sacks. They play the run first.
Happy birthday to Dick. He was 72 yesterday. 2nd and 10. Lendale White to the 40-yard line. There's a movement of foot to get Dick LeBeau into the Hall of Fame. I couldn't agree more. First of all, the thing about the Hall of Fame is they judge you on one level and not another. In other words, they judge you as a player only and not as a player plus a coach. But on either level, he could be in the Hall of Fame. He had over 60 career interceptions.
Well, in that case, put him in twice.
I'm with you. 3rd and 7. Collins hit as he throws and gets the pass away, and it's caught by Scaife, and he's able to get through Polamalu for a first down. So Kerry Collins under pressure, couldn't get very much on it, but Scaife was out alone, and he's able to pick up the first down.
What a play by a little running back, Chris Johnson.
And a personal foul.
43 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That's another one on Polamalu. The 3rd penalty on Troy tonight.
Chris Johnson right here is going to come up and just take on James Farrior and get just enough of him to allow Kerry Collins to get this thing off. What a gutsy play by a little back.
And there's your personal foul. There's your face mask.
Good call.
So 3 calls on Polamalu tonight. One was offset by the penalty on Tennessee. 1st and 10 now at the 17-yard line. Quick flip to Gage on the outside. And Gage takes the ball to the 12-yard line with 3.5 minutes to go in a scoreless opening half.
And now, as we know, this is no fluke. We watched this game unfold like this a season ago. The Tennessee Titans really believe they can block the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just have to prevent a free rusher from coming in there and getting to Kerry Collins.
2nd and 5. Gage in motion. Johnson tries to turn it back and gets taken down by Casey Hampton. Well, the Titans come in, and Jeff Fisher has been around long enough. Nothing scares Jeff Fisher. He said last night, we're not going into Pittsburgh to kiss their rings, you know.
Jeff likes football, doesn't he? He likes football. Both these guys, Mike Tomlin, Jeff Fisher, they like football. This is the area the Titans have probably improved the most from 2 seasons ago.
And the Steelers last year the best in red zone defense. 3rd and 6. Collins to the end zone. And incomplete, and Justin Gage gets sandwiched. Looks around for a personal foul. That was James Farrior coming in and popping him, but no flag. 4th and 6, and Barones comes in to attempt a field goal.
Well, Justin Gage, you know you're going into the lion cage when you come in here. It's like he got his hands on it, and then Farrior almost took his head off. Now, defenseless receivers are supposed to be protected to blows to the head, but I think that was below the head, into the shoulder pads. Good no call.
Barones earlier going the other way missed a 37-yarder. This is a 31-yard attempt as Henschel puts it down, and the kick is blocked. And there still hasn't been a point scored in 2009. Rob Barones, one of the best all time in terms of percentage, has missed one, had one block. Farrior got his hand on it, and Aaron Smith as well. A lot going on here. First of all, they're working on Polamalu's leg, knee, or calf. We can't tell at the moment. It appears to be the knee. The block was by Aaron Smith. He had Farrier behind him, and he was pushed into the line, but it's legal by Ke'Aaron Fox. Barones has now only had his second career field goal blocked out of 131 tries, and there's been no scoring in 2009. From the 21-yard line, Roethlisberger, 2 pump fakes, and then the pass is thrown incomplete. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Troy Polamalu.
Trying to pick up the fumble. Oh, boy. And you can see Algie Crumpler, about 280 pounds of him, came down right on that knee. And for Troy Polamalu, the fact that he was trying to make a play, trying to pick it up and run with it, may have cost him.
2nd and 10 as we tick down to the 2-minute warning. 4-man rush. Pass thrown to the outside, and that will be caught by Holmes along the sideline. Stays in bounds. That takes us to the 2-minute warning, tackled by Harper. 2 minutes to the half. No score in Pittsburgh. Toyota halftime show. Bob Costas with an enlightening chat with Jeff Fisher. And Andrea will update us on the Ben Roethlisberger legal situation. Most of you know a civil suit for sexual assault was filed against Ben a couple of months ago, which he has vigorously denied. And he,
1st and 10 into 33.
Of course, contends it has not been a distraction, but it sits obviously as a cloud above the Steelers to whatever extent. You never know. And Andrea will update the legal status of that at halftime. Catch is made here by Mewelde Moore up to the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6 with 1:50 to go, and looking ahead each team with all of its timeouts.
One thing we know about that situation, somebody's lying, and somebody's going to pay the price for it.
2nd and 6. Roethlisberger. Over the middle, wide open. Hines Ward gets free. Finds the open space and takes it to the 34-yard line. And timeout is called by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hines Ward, a gain of 29. It was Pittsburgh's first play of over 20 yards tonight, a 29-yard reception by Hines Ward.
And on this play, Ben Roethlisberger is going to get 2 guys with his pump fake. Right here, Keith Bullock, and back here, Chris Hope. And that's really what set that play up. He moved those 2 guys and allowed Hines Ward to run wide open down the middle of the field.
1st and 10 out of the gun. Moore and Miller flanking Roethlisberger in the backfield. Again, the pump fake. Deep over the middle, caught for a touchdown by Santonio Holmes. $34 yards. So it's a bookend. Holmes scoring the final points in the Super Bowl and the first points of the 2009 season.
Boy, a bad series that time for Chris Hope. He got beaten twice with the pump fakes. Ben Roethlisberger is moving this secondary now.
And Reed for the point after. 5 plays, 79 yards. And that took all of 52 seconds after the blocked field goal. And Reed bangs it through. So Holmes coming off a spectacular, not only Super Bowl, but great postseason, great end of the regular season. Scores the first touchdown of the 2009 season.
Chris Hope again right here is going to be fooled by the pump fake. Santonio Holmes coming all the way across the field, and Hope never sees him. He's coming in over on this side, and the pump fake Chris Hope for 2 straight plays, and boy, did they fly down the field after not doing anything all day. Roethlisberger back in the groove now. This is what he did last season when he played so well. Holmes all the way across the backside. Hope never sees it, falls for the pump fake. Touchdown Steelers.
It's in between a couple of guys who wound up in Honolulu in the Pro Bowl last year.
Doesn't look distracted now.
Not at the moment.
Wow. We had nothing. And then zip.
That was a pretty good nothing game. Meanwhile, Polamalu is going to go back into the Steeler locker room. Get an update on him. Injured on the blocked field goal. Reed kicking off. Javon Ringer, rookie from the 10-yard line. Ringer with an 18-yard run back in his debut as Polamalu gingerly walks up the steps. This kickoff special being brought to you by Need for Speed Shift in Stores, September the 15th. By Subway, home of the famous $5 footlong Subway Eat Fresh. By new Gillette Hydra Scrub Body Wash, a powerful clean without dry skin. And by Nike Pro Combat, prepare for combat.
Well, the Steelers' defense has been absolutely brilliant so far, but now their main guy, or one of their main guys anyway, Troy Polamalu, not out there.
Tyrone Carter, 23, takes his spot. And Collins will go deep on the first play, and the pass is incomplete. That's Ike Taylor in on the play to bust it up, intended for the rookie Kenny Britt. Second down.
Just terrible by Kenny Britt at that time. He doesn't come out of this break. Doesn't run too bad a route, comes out, but watch him just crawl out of the break. You got to come back. In the NFL, you are not open. You don't come slamming back to the quarterback, you have no chance in this league.
Mike Taylor, 7th year out of Louisiana Lafayette. Second down and 10. And Collins with his own pump fake, and wide open is Kenny Britt. Britt is inside the 30. Inside the 20, still on his feet, finally tackled at the 14, so they go right back to the rookie, who's tackled by Ryan Monday. Jeff Fisher sprints out on the field to ask for a timeout. That stops the clock with 54 ticks after a 57-yard reception.
How about we look?
Came right back with his own pump fake special there. That time he got Ryan Clark, the safety, as he pump faked. Clark jumped into the middle of the field and left Britt wide open on the outside. That was not on Ike Taylor. That was all on Ryan Clark.
Now from the 14-yard line. Collins to the end zone, and that's caught by Justin Gage for a touchdown. So it's 0-0, even though there was a lot of excitement in the first half, and then all of a sudden, an offensive fireworks display breaks out. 7-6 going on 7.
Just a little out and out route by Justin Gage, and Ike Taylor, that time it was his fault. He fell in love with the inside receiver, just never saw the out and up coming at him. And that's about as bizarre a 2 minutes as I remember. But Troy Polamalu out, and that looked like a different defense.
Boy, did that turn off the sound machine at Heinz Field. Baronis with the extra point to tie the game with 48 seconds. That's 3 plays, 34 seconds. And we're tied at 7. 48 seconds to the half. We're tied at 7. Let's check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, we saw the Titans exploiting the absence of 2 key Steeler defenders. Troy Polamalu in the locker room with a left knee injury. His return is questionable. Linebacker Lamar Woodley also in the locker room with cramps. They're calling his return probable.
And of course, Lawrence Timmons, who would have been a starter at inside linebacker, he was hurt and wasn't not in uniform tonight. Ke'Aaron Fox taking his spot. So the Steelers now with some physical issues as we go into halftime.
And Al, it really sets up for the second half now for the Titans, because without Woodley in there, now you can slide your protection over to Harrison and not worry so much about both those guys on the edge.
Stefan Logan back to receive the kick. As Baronis sends it into the night air to the 9-yard line.
Look out.
And Logan, out of the Canadian League last season with British Columbia, takes it to the 27-yard line. So 41 seconds to the half, and the Steelers have 2 timeouts.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger, a notoriously slow starter, as is this offense. And man, when they did the 2-minute warning, everything changed. And now you're starting to see these 2 veteran quarterbacks manipulating the defense and really settling in.
Watch the screen, Kelly.
From the 27-yard line, first down.
Black 20.
Titans send 4. On the outside, that's caught by Miller, and he is able to get out of bounds. Tackled there by Cortland Finnegan with 35 clock.
I really think the biggest change in this game, for whatever reason, the Steelers' offensive line has settled in. The Titans are not trying to blitz at this time. They want Ben Roethlisberger to hold the ball, and they think that he does that more when they play with 2 deep safeties. But right now, all that's doing is allowing him to pump fake and move these guys in the secondary.
Going 2 deep here. Again, rushing 4. 7 back in coverage. Ben comes back to the near side, hits Miller. He gets tackled by Tulloch and Finnegan, and then calls for a timeout. So with 27 seconds left, that's a first down, and the Steelers have 1 timeout remaining. 7 seconds and first down at the 46-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Remember, there's never been a field goal longer than 50 yards in this stadium, so probably have to get down around the 32 at least.
From the 46. Again, just that 4-man rush, and he hits Ward, and Ward will be thrust out of bounds at the 43. That's another first down. It saves a timeout. He gets out of bounds on his own, and they're in Tennessee territory. Gain of 12, first down.
The old dreaded prevent defense there. Jeffrey's pretty good, though. Give him a chance. More often than not, he's going to drill it, although he has had a bit of an ankle injury here lately.
Clutch through the years. And again, this is about as tough a place as there is in the NFL to kick field goals. Well, not bad tonight. From the 42-yard line. Ben shifting left. And the pass is incomplete. Roethlisberger tried to check down underneath, and now you've got 16 seconds. Jason Jones that time putting the pressure on Roethlisberger.
I think he looked at about 6 receivers there. I was trying to count. I don't think you're allowed to send 6 receivers out, but man, he just perpetual motion, and he loves moving left. He's probably one of the rarest of all commodities, a quarterback who likes to scramble left, a right-handed quarterback. You just don't see it that much.
Start to recycle your receivers. Look at a guy and then look at him again. Second down and 10. Good protection this time. But now that breaks down. The pump fake, and he's going to get sacked, and William Hayes is the guy who comes in. He's the first guy to get there. Jacob Ford in as well, and that'll stop the clock with 7 seconds.
Well, there you go again. It's pretty classic Ben. He's going to try and pump fake and move, and Heath Miller doing the best that he can on William Hayes. But when you take 5 or 6 seconds to throw it, you're going to end up eventually taking a few sacks, which Ben does. He's trying to stay alive with this thing. And really, when you talk to the Steelers and Bruce Arians, their offensive coordinator, they'll tell you that, you know, about half the sacks are because Ben holds the ball and tries to make plays, but he doesn't want to take that away from him because he makes so many big plays when he does that too.
Pittsburgh took the timeout, so you've got 7 seconds. It's a third down play, and time, if they so choose, for either a Hail Mary or throw something underneath and hope that Ward or Holmes or somebody else can get free.
The Titans have it well protected out around the 30-yard line in the flat. You'll see the 2 corners drop back underneath that so they can't catch it and get out of bounds. Now they're coming up and press, though.
3-man rush, 8 back. And the pass is caught. There's a flag thrown with 1 second. Moore makes the catch. But a penalty with 1 second to play in the half.
Illegal formation. Offense. Wide receiver was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And if you're wondering about the 10-second runoff and all that, it doesn't apply. It didn't stop the clock, all that different kind of stuff. But boy, that was some play by Mewaldy Moore. He was looking up at the clock, I think, and saw it was down to 1 second and stepped out and would have given them a chance, but for that penalty.
So 3rd down, and barring a defensive foul, it'll be the end of the half. They have everybody but Martin Brodeur back on defense here. And Roethlisberger will sling it as far as he can. A big jump ball coming up in the end zone, tip, and then intercepted. And this is Cortland Finnegan, and he's going to run it back. He's going to run it back past the 30. He's into Pittsburgh territory. And Cortland Finnegan still inbounds and finally gets tackled at the 21-yard line. And all I could think about was James Harrison in the Super Bowl. Cortland Finnegan running it out of the end zone and running out of time. Good half. Tennessee 7, Pittsburgh 7. So we have a halftime show with Bob Costas next.
Super Bowl champion, Pittsburgh Steelers!
Because the 2009 season is underway in Pittsburgh.
Troy Polamalu is simply flying around the field.
And what an interception, one-handed by Troy Polamalu. Deep over the middle, caught for a touchdown by Santonio Holmes. Collins to the end zone, and that's caught by Justin Gage for a touchdown. Very little scoring, but a lot of action in the first half. 7-7 our halftime score. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Andrea Kramer at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Jeff Fisher just moments ago with his team on the Tennessee sideline. Tough early season start for Tennessee in terms of the schedule. 4 of their first 6 on the road, and they have back-to-back games, 1 at home, 1 on the road, with Indianapolis and New England in October. Second half underway. Tennessee gets the ball. Reed's kick, fielded by Javon Ringer, the rookie out of Michigan State, at the goal line. And Ringer up to the 20-yard line. Let's get the physical report, especially with Polamalu, as we check in with Andrea.
Yeah, Al, big news for the Steelers. Troy Polamalu out for the rest of the game with that knee injury. Mike Tomlin told me he did not know the severity of it. He'll be replaced by Tyrone Carter in the base defense. Lamar Woodley got an IV at halftime for calf cramps. He will be back. Mike Tomlin said, don't ride the emotional roller coaster.
And, of course, it was Polamalu getting hurt on the blocked field goal, and there is Carter, who will take his spot. Tyrone Carter. Woodley will start here in the second half. The ball is at the 21-yard line as Tennessee begins this drive. And here is Johnson, who cuts it back upfield. He takes it out to the 28-yard line. The second-year back out of East Carolina has now carried the ball 8 times for 38 yards.
One of the keys when you're talking about the running game for the Tennessee Titans is Kevin Mawai has to be able to reach Casey Hampton. His quickness has really made a difference when you see them have success running the ball. Watch him get front side and then get up on the linebacker, and that's exactly why they were able to bust off that run. That's a key matchup tonight.
2nd and 3 from the 28-yard line. Johnson again. Johnson threading his way through, cutting it back, up past the 40. Chris Johnson to the 45-yard line. So 2 big runs tonight. 9 carries now for 55 yards. That's good for 17. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh on the ground tonight, just 12 yards rushing.
Watch Mawai on this one. He's going to take Casey Hampton and just go, okay. Just kind of push him down from the back, but he didn't get the holding call. A lot of times if you get too flagrant with that, they'll call that play back. That was a good play by a veteran center.
Mawai 7 Pro Bowls, Hampton 4. From the 45. They call this Lendale White's number. So after Johnson carries the first 2 plays of the half, they go to White, and White takes the ball up to the 49 with a chorus of boos.
I'll tell you what, Mawai is just getting off here now, and he's getting that edge going on Casey Hampton. And once he gets there, now he goes up on the next level, and you have problems stopping the run.
At the 50. On 2nd and 5. That's caught by Gage, and that's going to be a first down, as William Gay is there to make the tackle. Kevin Mawai, so many years with the Jets, 16th year, LSU, very articulate, president of the National Football League Players Association, so a man very deeply involved in making sure that there is no work stoppage in a couple of years.
Well, let's hope he's successful. You see the big brace on his right arm there. Missed a lot of time last year, but says it feels better than it did at any point last year.
And this is Lendale White, taken down by Chris Hoke as he crosses the line of scrimmage.
And the Steelers make a change. They bring Chris Hoke in there, and he did a much better job here on Kevin Mawai. You'll see him right over the center, stands him up, holds his ground there, and makes a play. That was a nice substitution there, but he took his helmet off and should have been penalized.
And realized it and got it back on in a hurry.
Doesn't matter. That should have been a penalty.
Absolutely. 2nd and 10. And the catch is made, and the ball is loose. It's a fumble. As Scaife made the catch, Harrison is there for the tackle, and the play continued, and Kieran Fox comes up with the recovery, and Scaife is hurt on the play. So a lot going on, and for the moment it's a turnover, and we'll take a look at the replay. Was he down?
I don't think so. And Harrison, when he hurt his knee, Bo Scaife hurt his knee, he ends up just dropping the football here. Here you can see he's in pain, and then lets that thing out of there, and everybody relaxes just a little bit. And I think that's Kieran Fox comes over and picks this thing up. Very strange play.
Ball coming loose just as his hand touched the ground, so they work on him, an injury timeout. Crossing the rivers here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, there is Scaife. If your hand goes down, you're not down, as was the case here with Scaife. So there's nothing to challenge. It is a fumble, and Pittsburgh will take over at the 46-yard line on the turnover. And coming out of the backfield is Willie Parker across the 50. That's a gain of 7. He followed Trey Essex, the right guard. It'll be 2nd down and 2, and that puts Parker over 5,000 yards for his career.
Going to have everybody pulling back this way on the counter play, start that way and bring it back. And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the first decent run I can remember for them. They have really struggled running the football so far in this one.
Well, Parker, less than 2 yards a carry, 9 carries for 17 yards. Mendenhall 2 for 3. Willie again a little short of the first down. So it'll be 3rd down and 1. So an undrafted free agent, Parker, who had a great Super Bowl in Detroit against Seattle. And there are the guys in the history of the league. Joe Perry with 8,300. Priest Holmes. You forget about Priest not being drafted. Clement Daniels back with the Raiders. And now Willie Parker up to the moment 5,006 career yards and a lot more to go.
And interesting that Willie Parker is still in there now. The Steelers struggled in short yardage last year, making only about 50% of the time.
Did they ever? Well, Gary Russell did a lot of the 3rd and short, but he's no longer with the team.
Like that.
Like that. That's exactly right. Same thing as last year. 3rd and short, 4th and short, and that's Tony Brown clogging up the middle to make sure he doesn't get the first down, and in comes the punting unit.
Tony Brown here is just going to take Hartwig back into the backfield. slips right around that block and comes around and makes the play. Hartwig tried to reach him and just missed, just fanned on the play.
Steelers with the second lowest percentage of converting 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 last year. And that's dropped after a fair catch was called for by Finnegan, but he's able to recover it. So Finnegan returning punts for the first time as a pro. He did it in college, went to school at Samford. Almost a disaster for him here, but he recovers at his own 6. The Steelers and now the U.S. ambassador to Ireland, Dan Rooney, spending almost all of the year in Ireland, but comes back for the opener and watching his team at a 7-7 tie with the ball at the 5-yard line, and Collins giving the ball to Johnson. Just to correct one thing on Finnegan, he returned 2 punts in 07, but he is forced into service tonight. They released Mark Jones, and they love their rookie Ryan Mouton, but he is hurt. So Finnegan forced into duty tonight and able to recover his own fumble.
James Harrison is an animal. I mean, it doesn't matter who tries to block that guy. He just throws him aside. Oh, my goodness. No wonder that guy was the MVP.
Like Parker.
Awesome.
Like Parker, a free agent. Not only that, he was released a couple of times, and he actually was in Baltimore's camp at one point a few years ago and was released by them. 2nd and 9. Johnson, short side of the field and no room to roam, and that's Kieran Fox making the tackle. You know, the more you look back and you can talk about the great plays in Super Bowl history, and for my money, I mean, you might rank them 1, 2, 3 in the last 2 years. I mean, the catch,
Tyree,
David Tyree from Manning, and then the Harrison 100-yard interception return, and the Holmes game-winning catch. I mean, I don't know how to rank them, but those are 3 of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history.
And there was a bit of an ad-lib for Harrison. He was supposed to blitz on that play.
Right. And then to be in great enough shape to run 100 yards at the end of the half. And that is Lamar Woodley, who had to come out of the lineup at the end of the first half, who smothers Chris Johnson. And so that is a very fast 3 and out, and the punt from deep in their own territory.
This is why they're the best defense. They are so tough at the edge. Algie Crumpler is going to do his best to block Woodley and just simply cannot. They are tearing these tight ends up on the edge, and this is not the first team they've done it to. They do it to everybody.
Hentrick standing at the back of the end zone. Stephon Logan standing at the 50-yard line to run it back. Logan calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 46. That's where Ben and the gang will set up shop. 8 minutes, 1 second left in the third. Tied at 7. Monday night, 10 Eastern and Pacific, 9 Central and Mountain here on NBC. Beautiful night in Pittsburgh. Temperature in the upper 60s. Crowd electric at the outset when their Super Bowl champions came onto the field. And right now in a dogfight. 7-7 from the 46-yard line on first down. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Santonio Holmes, and Roethlisberger hits the deck.
He got jacked, but I tell you, he has been giving this Titans defense headaches tonight with his pump fakes, and we've seen it before. Remember that one in the Super Bowl? Pump to the guy out in the flat, draw him up, completely fooled, and then throw it in behind him, and that was probably the biggest play on that drive as it set up the eventual game winner.
Brent tonight throwing for 180 with a couple of picks. Back to the ground. Parker takes the ball almost up to the midfield stripe. The 750. Kevin Vickerson, number 96, making the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 6 at the 50-yard line.
Now, it's one thing about the running game is that sometimes you just have to stay with it. You know, I mean, defenders get tired in the second half, and they're used to flying around the first half, and then all of a sudden they get a little worn down. The first game, you always get a little more tired than any others. Sometimes just staying with that running game can have an effect.
And Holmes comes limping off the field. That was Santonio on the bench. You've got Swede split wide to the left, bottom of the screen. 3rd down and 6. Mike Wallace, the rookie, is also in the game on the other side. And Roethlisberger will throw, and that's caught by the 3rd down back, Mewelde Moore, for a first down.
Beautiful job up front that time. The Titans came with a rare blitz there. And watch this offensive line just absolutely perfectly pick up everything. And Kyle Vanden Bosch, who typically is a guy that is going to rush your quarterback, here was forced into coverage on Mewelde Moore. And that's not a dream matchup for the Titans.
No. You want to isolate on the linebacker when you get a defensive end. That's the frosting on the cake. 1st and 10. Good play fake. Ton of time. But the secondary does its work, and then he gets chased and tackled at the 40-yard line. Boy, he takes some shots. David Thornton was there after Javon Hay chased him down with 6.5 to go. Low scoring, but a lot of excitement tonight. And what did Mike Tomlin say at the beginning? He said whichever team is more violent is going to win the game.
There has been a lot of hitting going on, and luckily for both these teams, they'll have 10 days before they have to do it again. I think they'll need every minute of it.
Yeah, Pittsburgh goes to Chicago, and Tennessee will go home a week from Sunday to take on the Texans. 2nd and 7. And Parker can't get out of the backfield, and that's Vincent Fuller coming up to make the tackle. Fuller had an interception in the first half. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
I tell you, the Titans are so good at filling these gaps. Watch this time from the safety coming up in behind. They think they have the hole right there, but they do not miss one of their gaps. Everybody has a single gap, and that time Fuller found his and came in and made the play. Beautiful.
Each team has run 42 plays in the game. 3rd down and 10 from the 43-yard line. Rush 4, pressure, and that creates a wobbly duck, and the pass is incomplete. And it's Javon Curse and Jason Jones who both get to Roethlisberger as he released the ball.
Jason Jones is doing it all over again. He had 3.5 sacks the last time that he played against this football team, and he is just coming after Ben Roethlisberger. A little meeting at the quarterback along with Javon Curse.
Daniel Sepulveda to punt. And the left-footed kicker sends it down to Finnegan, who calls for the fair catch, and then he gets hit. Hit by Patrick Bailey. And there's Javon Curse shaken up. Hey, coach. Interesting call at the end of that play, because I had mentioned Finnegan had called for a fair catch. Watch this. He does, but it's too early. And he kind of waves his hand. So in other words, he's saying right off the bat, I'm calling for a preemptive fair catch. But that is not a legal fair catch signal. And thus he was eligible to be tackled and was by Patrick Bailey. And you saw him turn around and ask for a flag, and that's the reason he didn't have the flag. It's fortunate he held onto the football.
Yes, he was.
Tennessee at the 10-yard line. Lendale White is the running back. And here goes White over right tackle. And he gets stood up by Fox and friends. Don't ask me how I came up with that.
They better give us a promo.
I'm thinking of Jane Skinner. It's a promo for Roger Goodell's wife. 2nd and 4.
Cortland Finnegan still trying to figure out what a legal fair catch is. I think you have to wave that hand one time. I don't think you can just circle it over the top. But we'll check.
And officially, the ball has to be in the air, off his foot, before you can call for the fair catch. And it wasn't. 2nd down and 4. To the outside, and this is Britt, and he gets met immediately, and he gets tackled by William Gay, the cornerback, number 22. Gay, one of the new Pittsburgh starters. Brian McFadden was a regular starter last year for Pittsburgh, and he left, and Gay takes over at left corner. Jeff Fisher, who knows what it's like to take over as an NFL coach in your 30s. Mike Tomlin, youngest coach ever to win a Super Bowl in his 3rd year, and still just 37 years old. 3rd down and 6 at the 14-yard line. And over the middle, that's Gage, and he gets free, and they can exploit that secondary now with Polamalu out of there. Ryan Clark makes the tackle, and it's a 16-yard gain.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they get in those nickel blitz situations, look at them. There's not a down lineman anywhere to be found. They're trying to mess up the count of the offensive line. But as they're dropping back in coverage, there have been some holes in the middle of that zone pretty much throughout the course of the night. That's just about the same spot Tennessee took advantage the last time they played as well.
From the 30, White. He slimmed it down, White. Up to the 34-yard line, gain of 4. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Opening night, 7-all.
Well, we talked about filling the gaps. Ryan Clark for the Pittsburgh Steelers is one of the really good hitters in here. Going to come right in here and fill in and make this hit. That's a long way back for a safety to come up and make a tackle. And boy, did he lay some leather on that one.
Second down and 6. Whoops. Pressure on. Arm hit. And the pass is incomplete. And that's Lamar Woodley who got in there from the corner and forced the throw.
Well, you're starting to feel it, aren't you? These outside linebackers are starting to make plays now. Woodley coming against David Stewart on the outside. Stewart is going to try and get out there, but Woodley, that rare combination of speed and strength, got to Kerry Collins there. Boy, he doesn't have a lot of wiggly kind of pass rush moves, but he can run through anybody.
3rd and 6. Here they come again. And the pass is caught over the middle into the arms of Craig Stevens, who would be normally the number 4 tight end,
formation.
but a flag.
Offense, number 76, was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Oh, that's got to get Fisher crazy. That's the 3rd time tonight. Illegal formation. That's David Stewart not on the line of scrimmage. That would have been a 1st down for Craig Stevens, who would have been inactive except for the injury to Jared Cook.
And why did he do it? Because he got beat on the prior play.
Yep.
You know, so he's trying to step back a little bit farther to help him get there against Lamar Woodley. He's not going to move before the snap. He just simply is off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. And it was because he couldn't get there last time.
You have to have a minimum of 7 on the line. And they're calling that closer than ever. 3rd down and 11. And that pass is dropped. Gage had it in his hands, would have had a 1st down, and instead Tennessee, after the penalty and the drop, will punt.
Boy, I tell you what, you can't get much more open against the Steelers than this. And Kerry Collins talked about it. He said you only get so many opportunities against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and when you get one, you have to take advantage. Wasn't a great throw, and obviously a drop ball.
Hentrick to punt. Logan to return it. Bounces at the 29-yard line, so Logan came up and then let it go, and that cost him about 15 yards as the ball is down at the 15-yard line. 56-yard Hentrick pick. 7-all.
America, center of equal daughters, equal sons, all alike and good, grown, ungrown, young or old, strong, ample, fair, enduring, capable, rich, perennial with the earth, with freedom, law, and love.
Take a look at football on Dish Network and DirecTV. DirecTV says it shows every NFL game every week.
The Green Bay in 3 nights. Sunday Night Football, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. One of the great rivalries in the history of the National Football League. Bob will be with us up in Green Bay. Football Night in America. And Swanee is here. Lynn Swann, the Hall of Fame 2001 inductee, former partner of ours on Monday Night Football, looking on, ran for governor a few years back. Mendenhall for a gain of 4 up to the 18-yard line, tackled there by Stephen Tulloch.
Boy, Lynn Swann made some great big-time catches in his career, but I'm not sure it matches what Santonio did last year. Boy, that guy, could he make some circus catches in big games or what?
Think about that. Well, Stallworth and Swann, and now you fast forward to Ward and Holmes. When you think about Pittsburgh with running and defense, but boy, they've had some fabulous wide receivers. And this is Mendenhall. Go back to the Super Bowl. And of course, Ben Roethlisberger. Most of you know the story by now. He was looking out in the flat from Weldy Moore. Then he was looking for Ward. And then with 3 Cardinals in the picture, throws it to the back corner of the end zone. And an unbelievable toe dance by Holmes, who just a couple of plays before that had dropped what would have been a touchdown pass on the other side of the end zone.
He said, all I could think was, I blew the Super Bowl. I lost the Super Bowl. And then he heard the call in the huddle, and he says, I have one more chance.
Holmes, who was on the bench, they were checking him out, is now back in the game. And that pass is caught by Ward, but he has to go down to the turf to make the catch, as the clock will tick down to the end of the third quarter.
Pro football right there. Chuck Cecil with a great call, called the blitz, force the hot read, make the tackle, send out the punt team.
It'll be 4th down and 2, and that will end the third quarter at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh with the score Tennessee 7, Pittsburgh 7. And this NBC NFL kickoff special continues after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight from Pittsburgh brought to you by Duracell. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer. Heinz Field. We start the fourth quarter with a Pittsburgh punt. Daniel Sepulveda fielded at the 31 by Finnegan. Out he goes at the 38-yard line. Tennessee Titans, of course, still mourning and memorializing the passing of Steve McNair, murdered on the 4th of July in Nashville, and they're honoring him this year with the number 9 patch. And among other things, Steve, a mentor to Vince Young, who had that up and down year, mainly down last year, and was in contention for the number 2 spot in training camp. That's what he was vying for, and he won it outright over Patrick Ramsey. As Collins goes back to pass on first down, winds up hitting number 18 Kenny Britt, the rookie, for a first down.
Well, I tell you, when you play the Steelers, you have to be able to hit these deep out routes. It's the one spot on the field they typically leave open. You can see the inside technique by Taylor, and look at the difference in that route. Britt really rips his way out of the route, doesn't sit there and wait on the ball, and he gets the big completion. He's played really well tonight now.
Britt's caught 3 passes for 70 yards. Double tight end set. Johnson can't swing to the outside. Tackled there by Smith, and we're going to check in with Andrea.
Well, Titans tight end Bo Scaife has a sprained left knee. He was testing it and was limping. They called his return questionable, but he's sitting on the bench with a bag of ice on the knee and his coat on. As for Troy Polamalu, no further update from the Steelers, but he has not returned to the field with that knee injury.
They put the franchise tag on Scaife. He caught 58 balls last year, led the team. Mentioned Craig Stevens before, who got into the game. He would normally be a number 4 on the tight end depth chart and a special teams guy, but he'll play now because Algie Crumpler and Stevens are the only tight ends. And Collins fires, and that's caught as he threads the needle to Gage. Harrison back on the coverage. First down at the Steeler 34-yard line.
Boy, Kerry Collins hummed that thing in there. Just a 3-man rush coming that time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's just not working. They didn't even get close to Kerry Collins, and he showed off a little arm strength right there. You can say whatever you want about Kerry Collins. Arm strength has never been an issue.
Collins 19 of 29. 227 yards. Roethlisberger's thrown for 192. Johnson to the 32-yard line.
And I may have talked about this earlier, but remember, Kerry Collins has never lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's 3-0 in his career and has been sensational. For some reason, he just seems so comfortable. And I think the biggest difference with Kerry is he's not taking sacks anymore. Prior to this year, or last year, 1 sack every 18 dropbacks. Last year, 1 every 53.
Key to success last year, few sacks, few turnovers. Chased out, throws on the run, catch made 30-yard line, tackle made immediately on Algie Crumpler. Ryan Clark with the coverage on the play. 12:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Well, they're not being shy about blitzing now. Coming off this right side, and typically what you get with the Pittsburgh Steelers defensively, they usually either blitz one side or the other. They try and leave you with offensive linemen blocking nobody, but you can tell as they get down in field goal range, Dick LeBeau is going to try and dial something up here to get a sack and force them out of field goal range.
Crowd inspiring the defense on 3rd down and 6. And Collins throws, and that's caught, but short of the first down as he swings it outside to Crumpler. That's Ryan Mundy, number 29, who makes the tackle. Baronis, the field goal kicker. We started the night by telling you one of the best in the league and statistically one of the best in history. But a miss from 37 and a blocked field goal from 31 on the play that cost the Steelers. Polamalu will now attempt a 45-yard field goal to give Tennessee the lead. Hentrick to put it down at the 35-yard line. And Baronis' kick this time is good. Inside the left upright. And the Tennessee Titans take the lead by 3 with 11 minutes to go. Forming the Ohio, influence of the Three Rivers, Snoop Dogg, major football fan, loves his Steelers, loves his USC Trojans, who take on Ohio State this week. We'll probably journey over to Columbus in a couple of days. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just.
It's good to be Snoop Dogg.
Suggesting an itinerary for him. 10-7 Tennessee. And Baronis has kicked 4 yards into the end zone. Logan's going to come out with it. And Logan, a preseason sensation, up past the 25 and returns it to the 30. The Steelers down by 3. Start from the 30. Fourth quarter. Opening night, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to come from behind. It's 10-7 Tennessee. Pittsburgh has had no running game tonight. They've run the ball 18 times for 28 yards. That's Wallace in motion. Fake the end around. Swing it out to him. And the speedster rookie gets knocked down after a gain of 6. Drafted Mike Wallace in the 3rd round out of Mississippi. Gain of, call it 7, 2nd down and 3.
Well, Roethlisberger did it 5 times last year, fourth quarter comebacks to win football games, of course, including the Super Bowl. He's back in that position again.
And they're changing the tempo here as they go no huddle on 2nd down and 3. To the air again, stepping up and then dumps it off, and it's Parker who makes the catch. Almost a forward pass, but he's able to swing it behind him. He avoids the sack and then somehow is able to throw it off to the side and not forward.
It looked like this. Well, maybe it was forward there. It was close, but you know, what he does remarkably well is keep those eyes down the field and just finds people. He doesn't mind getting hit.
A challengeable play, but Fisher's guys upstairs apparently saying there's not enough there to necessarily overturn it. But he could have challenged that. First down from the 42-yard line. And that's caught by Miller. And Miller breaks the tackle, and Miller gets across the 50 and takes the ball to the 48-yard line. Keith Miller
When all else fails, what do they say around here? Go find Heath Miller.
And you've got an injured Titan. That's Gage. That's Fuller who's down. Vincent Fuller. Community next Thursday on NBC. One note, I was talking about Roethlisberger. He was behind the line of scrimmage. So of course, if you're behind the line of scrimmage, he was moving forward. And the forward pass, of course, is legal, and no way it was going to be challenged. As now Roethlisberger throws to Miller, who was to reach for a first down and gets it, as Cortland Finnegan makes the tackle.
One of the things we've seen so many times over the years with Heath Miller is he blocks first, and then when he kind of senses everything falling apart, he just slips out there late and makes a play. There's some magical connection between these two guys, but Ben Roethlisberger, when he gets in trouble, knows exactly where Heath Miller is. We saw it in the Super Bowl, too.
From the 47-yard line, coming across the line, and they'll get the whistle blown. Unimpeded to the quarterback, Vanden Bosch.
Approach to the number 93 defense. Excuse me, unabated the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Unimpeded, unabated. Take your pick.
And Ben Roethlisberger was mad at the end of this play because he had Vanden Bosch moving backwards. So here he's thinking, I've got a free play. He wanted to run that thing and take a shot down the field.
First and 5, Mewoldy Moore in the backfield.
Lefty, 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 lefty.
And that's caught by Holmes for a first down. Good coverage that time by Nick Harper, the longtime former Colt, now in his third year with Tennessee. But good for 10 yards and a first down at the 31-yard line.
Anytime the Steelers get in that 3-by-1 formation, 3 receivers to one side, Holmes to the other side, if they're going to single up Holmes, they should automatically come back there. They didn't take advantage of that enough the last time these two teams got together. There they saw it. He made the audible. He made the play. Again, 3-by-1, 3 receivers left. Santonio Holmes to the right.
163. Brown
Harper on Holmes again. To the ground, some more, and he'll pick up about 3. The safety Chris Hope making the tackle. Ball will be spotted at the 27-yard line. Second down and 6.
One of the reasons that you have trouble running the footballs and getting sacks is when you can't run the ball, then you're defensively able to come after the quarterback, and the Steelers right now just are not impressing the Titans with the way they're running it, so they're coming after Roethlisberger nearly every snap.
Low huddle, 4 wide. Oh, and Ben gets decked. Javon Curse coming off the left side with a clear shot and a hard shot on Roethlisberger.
And that's just on Ben. You've got to realize here they've got everybody up. You've got an unblocked man. Anytime they get in that empty formation, Jeff Fisher said, we don't have a dime defense. If they go empty on us, we are blitzing them. We're sending everybody. That time he almost got his head taken off.
Third down and 12. That's 4 sacks of Roethlisberger tonight. That one for 6 yards. Third and a dozen. This time rushing only 3. Roethlisberger directing traffic and finds the open man, and that's Santonio Holmes. Rushing 3, dropping 8. Holmes gets free on the left hash. Big first down.
We had so much luck bringing pressure against them. Here they come with only 3. Ben very patient. Couple of pump fakes. Redirects Santonio Holmes with his hand. He knew that defender was there, and he just simply waited for Holmes to come around him. Great quarterback play.
7 catches, 108 yards now for Santonio Holmes. Ticking down to 5 minutes. Ben looking at the play clock. Moore to the 10-yard line. And Roethlisberger saying, all right, let's huddle up now.
Well,
gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
It's interesting because now the Pittsburgh Steelers are going back in the huddle, which is okay because you want to play the clock here a little bit, but look what the Titans are doing. And that allows them to substitute now, so you get some fresh bodies in the game. That defense was completely worn out. The substitution now is going to allow them to get back in it.
Moore. And Moore will chug his way inside the 10. So no Parker on this drive. Parker tonight, 13 carries, 19 yards. If they're going to win the game, they're going to do it through the air. The Steelers tonight have rushed for 1.7 yards per carry, 3rd and 1.
And they even had a fullback in the game that time, Frank Summers, which everybody in Pittsburgh wants him to do more of. And there he is again.
Here they are again in a situation in which they failed so often last year and earlier in the game tonight. 3rd and 1. And once again, they can't convert on 3rd and short. William Hayes, number 95, is there. So now the Steelers, faced with a 4th and 1, a field goal, a chip shot, would tie the game, and at least they line up at least to go for it. Will they snap it is the question.
I'd be stunned.
Sit on! No.
I would too.
Laser. Sit on!
I think the decision now is whether to take the penalty or not or call the timeout. They're probably just going to take the 5 yards.
Might as well. It's a chip shot, field goal. It's the difference between a 26-yarder or a 31-yarder.
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
On a night with not much wind. So they'll take the delay of game penalty. The clock goes down to 3:02. And they will send Reed in to try to tie the game.
Saw a lot of motion on this 3rd down play, bringing Heath Miller over. Basically, he switched spots with Santonio Holmes. But again, the penetration getting there. And we saw Frank Summers, the fullback, basically whiff on that play, not get the block. And again, I'll tell you, the Steelers, it's been a nightmare for them, this short yardage. They cannot find an answer.
Reed, a 32-yard attempt. Sepulveda puts it down. Whoa. Oh, boy. The kick was low but good. Just got it over the outstretched hands of the defense. And we're tied at 10 with 2:57 to play on opening night in Pittsburgh. Defense gassed, but they did come up with that big stop on 3rd and 1, limiting Pittsburgh to a field goal, Chris.
But remember, when they came out of that no-huddle offense, which was so effective, it allowed Tennessee to substitute, and then they made their stand defensively with fresh bodies.
Reed with the kickoff. 10-yard line, Javon Ringer. Up to the 29-yard line and a flag throw.
And that could be a big flag. Instead of on the 28 or 9.
During the return, holding. Number 51, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down. Timeout.
Gerald McGrath, rookie out of Southern Mississippi. 2:50 to play, 10-10. Brett Favre and Peyton Manning have led more game-winning drives in the 4th quarter or overtime than has Kerry Collins. The backers, Harrison and Woodley, who so often come into prominence in situations like this. And after the penalty, Tennessee starts at the 18-yard line. Collins to throw on 1st down. And the pass is caught. Gage makes the catch. That's a gain of 11. That's a 1st down up at the 29-yard line. He's tackled there by William Gay. Tennessee with all of its timeouts plus the 2-minute warning.
Couple of things at work here. Obviously, you want to work a little time off the clock in case you have to punt it. Right now, Kerry Collins back in the huddle and just letting that clock work down a little bit. They'd like to get it inside 2 minutes and then really go to work.
from the 29. Out of the shotgun. Johnson stays in the block. Collins under pressure and then just has to throw it away because James Farrier came in and put the heat on. Clock stopped, 2:08 to play.
And they had him open out there in the flat. Nate Washington was really wide open, and Carey just uncomfortable threw that one away, but they may want to come right back to it because Nate Washington was just wide open.
Steelers show blitz. Here they come. Collins pressured again. Forced to throw it away again. And that time it's Casey Hampton who busts through the nose tackle. 3rd and 10.
Well, they did exactly that. They tried to come right back with it. Bring the all-out blitz up the middle. Hampton's just going to loop to the outside and nobody picks him up. That's what happens when you play Pittsburgh. And now, because of the incomplete passes, they don't pick it up here. They've got to punt it back at the 2-minute warning. Thought they would have milked this clock a little more.
3rd and 10. Pittsburgh's pressure not letting them. Collins this time has time. Slings it over the middle too high. Intended for Justin Gage. And Gage takes the pop. It's 4th down with 1:57. And Pittsburgh has all of its timeouts when it gets the ball back. 1:57 to play on opening night. Is this one on opening night 2009? We'll go down to the wire. Tennessee 10, Pittsburgh 10.
Premiere from legendary Lambeau Field for the league's longest running rivalry. The Green Bay Packers, continuing the tradition of hard-nosed smash-mouth football. The Chicago Bears.
The simplest path to a Super Bowl is if you have a franchise quarterback.
Now, a new era. Young guns take aim on Sunday Night Football.
And coming up after the game tonight, Andrea Kramer will have an interview with one of the stars of the game, and we'll take a look ahead to the Bears-Packers game Sunday night, Lambeau Field, on the Wendy's post-game report.
Of course, that might be about an hour from now if we have a little overtime.
Could be. Here's Hentrich's 5th punt of the night. He's averaging 49 yards per boot. And that one is a high, short kick. His worst of the night at the most inopportune time. And it will go out of bounds as they'll mark it off the side of his foot. Went the kick. It's only a 28-yard boot.
You're a golfer, Al. What's this called?
You know what it's called.
The yes word.
You play golf too.
Yeah, and I hit a bunch of those. Well, here we go. Ben Roethlisberger right back in a familiar spot. Great field position. Titans didn't use the clock. And boy, they have left Ben Roethlisberger in a position that he loves.
Noeldi Moore is the back. So Parker is on the bench. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. And Ben, after checking off to the right, goes back the other way to Santonio Holmes. That time the protection was great. Roethlisberger looking over the middle, looking to his right, goes back to Holmes. 1st down.
Flawless. Flawless. Perfect protection. Look at that. Ben has time to go all over the field. You have no chance as a defense. These defensive linemen are wearing out. They're going to have to come back to the blitz. You cannot let Big Ben stand back there and do that.
Matt Starks providing the security on the left side perfectly. From the 46. 1st down. Caught by Ward. And he gets wrestled down inbounds. Finnegan making the tackle.
That time the Titans come with a corner blitz, and Ben Roethlisberger read it perfectly. Got it right to the guy. who they were trying to blitz with. And Roethlisberger's got it going right now.
10 straight completions. They can do a little milking of the clock on the way down the field as well here. 2nd down and 7, and that's what they're doing. Roethlisberger under pressure, avoids the sack, throws, caught over the middle. That's Mewelde Moore, and he has a 1st down at the 34, and they will take a timeout here with 63 seconds remaining. And that's what makes him so great. I mean, among all of the things that he does, the great arm, the pump faking and all that, he just extends plays. I don't want to say like no other quarterback, but he's right at the top of the list right now.
Well, Kyle Vanden Bosch, who plays for Tennessee, the defensive end, called him the most courageous quarterback in the NFL, and you see why. And he basically has apologized to his offensive lineman. He said, guys, I understand. I'm the reason people write such bad things about you because you give up all these sacks, but it's me. It's the way I play. And Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, says, I'm not going to take that away from him. I had a kid in college that I tried to change. I tried to make him get the ball out quick, not scramble around, and I ruined him. I'm not going to ruin Ben Roethlisberger. I'm going to let him play his game.
Slow start for Ben. And now all of a sudden, as hot as it gets, 11 straight completions, trying to lead him on a game-winning drive. 2 timeouts remaining for them. The ball at the 34 and 1st down. They rush for it. Line doing the job again. Roethlisberger with time. Inside the 20, Ward makes the catch. And Ward will fumble the ball inside the 5-yard line. Hines Ward fumbles and Tennessee recovers at the 4. It was Vincent Fuller who earlier had an interception who creates the huge fumble here. And Hines Ward, had he dropped down inside the 4-yard line, probably could have taken the clock all the way down to the end.
See, Michael Griffin comes in with the strip just right on the football. And Hines Ward obviously wanting to score a touchdown here and never saw Griffin. Never saw him. All he has to do is fall down on the ground, take a knee, and it's going to be game over. One of the great players in Steelers history with a huge mistake here.
Griffin and Fuller are right there together. Ward getting inside the 10, exasperated as he comes to the bench. And Tennessee right now with 51 seconds. It was Stephen Tulloch who winds up recovering the fumble.
And boy, now if you're the Tennessee Titans, you just want to get out of here.
Jacob Ford is hurt on the play. Take a look at the play again from its inception. Great protection. Roethlisberger has time. Finds Ward wide open.
You know, this 4-man pass rush just is not working. They just can't do it. You know, when you have a zone defense, it gets stretched. The longer that you hold the ball as a quarterback, instead of now having to cover 40 yards of field, you're covering 60 yards of field, and those holes are gaping in there. But boy, you're talking about a play that we may look back on at the end of the season between these two great football teams. Could be monumental. But now they have to get this clock run out.
Griffin went to the Pro Bowl last year. 1st and 10 now. The ball is at the 4-yard line. And this is Johnson, as Tennessee will be content to send it to overtime if they can. If Pittsburgh wants to use their timeouts, they have to. And they will spend the first of those right here.
I think they're going to get the clock to run out here. I think they can do that. But remember, just in case, if the Titans had to punt it, remember that weird rule that they can fair catch the kick and then get a free kick for a game-winning field goal. But I think the way this clock sets up right now that they should be able to run it out.
There's only 1 timeout remaining, and that will take you to a 3rd down situation, and then you can let the clock run out.
One of the toughest, most physical players, certainly to ever play the wide receiver position, that makes a big play, and just pure competitiveness makes him try and score. If he just takes a knee, it's basically game over, but he just doesn't have that in him.
2nd and 8. And you've got a false start here.
False start, number 76 offense. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
David Stewart, right tackle.
And for Jeff Fisher, I've got to think that he will take overtime in a heartbeat. You come in here against the world champions, tough environment. If he can get this thing to overtime and give himself a chance.
One thing Tennessee wants to do here, they want to take 4 seconds off the clock on this play. And Collins will take it up to the 4, and they take 3 seconds off.
Al, you make a great point. That's a bad call.
Well, except right now, what they have to do is just run a play, and by the time they have to run the next play, the clock could run out. But it was very, very close. And you're right, because if they're forced to punt and you fair catch the punt, you then get, even with no time left, a free kick, in effect, a field goal with nobody rushing to win the game.
Yeah, but essentially, assuming that this next play will at least take 2 seconds, they should be okay here. So, but I'm sure Jeff Fisher is counting on his fingers and toes over there to make sure that he can get this clock run out. It's been some game, hasn't it, Ben? What a great opener.
Very low scoring, but a lot of excitement, a lot of very interesting stuff, a lot of great strategy, a lot of hard hitting. And Collins now will take the ball up to the 4-yard line. So just barely will this clock expire, and that will take us to overtime.
As it should be between these two teams. Boy, it's been a strange back and forth moment. And for Hines Ward, he knows that he had the game winner in his hands and let it slip through his fingers. And he can't believe it. And now, like Santonio Holmes, all he can hope for is one more chance.
And that will be the end of regulation right there, with the score tied at 10.
Oh, here we go with the old coin toss, and both teams may not get an opportunity. I don't know about you, but I like the NFL sudden death rules. I like the fact that on any play, once you get to overtime, it could end on that play. I know there are people who have opposing views on that. I like the system.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. I understand both sides of the argument here, but I think it works pretty well. The argument, of course, being that if you lose the coin toss, you may not see the ball, but so be it. So it's up to your defense to do the job.
Yeah, and with these two defenses, it may be an advantage.
We're going to play up to a 15-minute overtime period. The first team that scores will win the game. If neither team scores, the game will be recorded as a tie. Fourth quarter timing rules are in effect. Each team has 2 timeouts. All replays will be initiated by the replay booth. You're the visitors, you'll make the call. 5 says tails. It's heads. Pittsburgh, you'd like the ball. Good goal. You want to kick in that direction. Pittsburgh will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
So the strip and the fumble recovery sends us to overtime in the first game of the 2009 season. Steelers to get the ball.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season.
You get more power and more space. The world gets fewer smog-forming emissions.
Overtime, first team to score wins. You play up to 15 minutes, otherwise the game winds up as a tie. There are no coaches' challenges. It's like the last 2 minutes. All reviews come from the booth. The last time there was a tie was last year in that Philadelphia-Cincinnati game, where Donovan McNabb didn't know a game could end in a tie. And that tie wound up helping Philadelphia get into the playoffs, because they wound up 9-6-1 and beat out Dallas by a half game. Logan, 2 yards in the end zone. And he brings the ball out to the 22-yard line. And let's go back to the biggest play of the game as Hines Ward comes out onto the field.
Well, obviously, regardless, the play is to get down here, if you can think of that in this crazy situation at the end of the game, because even if you score a touchdown here, you're still going to leave the Titans with time to come back the other way. So if it had crossed his mind, which sometimes it's something you talk about in the huddle before a play, you get down, you kick the game winner.
53's Mike.
Roethlisberger, red hot in the second half. Moelde Moore is the back. They've had no running game tonight. Ben has thrown for 303 yards from the 22-yard line. Pressure is on. The pass is underthrown. The heat was put on the quarterback. And the pass at Moore's feet, Javon Hay, number 75, with the pressure. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Boy, we haven't seen much pressure out of the 4-man rush for a long time, but Javon Hay finally making a move back inside and forced Roethlisberger to hurry that one just a bit.
2nd and 10. Again, no blitz. 4 rush. 7 back. Open right. Left side is Ward, and Hines Ward picks up a 1st down.
Al, you just can't do this. You're going to stretch this zone in 1,000 different directions as that quarterback stands there, and you just can't keep allowing him to do that. I would rather take a chance on getting an interception or making a play, and right now they're just standing there in that 4-man rush and not even getting close.
Ward 7 catches. Holmes has 8. Miller has 7 tonight. The line does its job. Again, a lot of time. He hits Miller. Miller to the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 7 yards. And Heath Miller has now caught 8 passes tonight for 63 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Well, I guess maybe they're thinking that we're a 4-man pass rush team. We're not going to change our strategy. This is what we do, but it's not working right now. They need a play. They need some play, a blitz, an interception, something.
On 2nd and 2. Now they blitz, but it's a run. And Moore, does he get the 1st down is the question. He's very close. Moelde Moore on a 2nd and 2.
Well, they came with the blitz that time, but they blitzed the wrong way. They blitzed to the wide side of the field, and they caught him with a run back to the other way. So I don't know if Ben saw that one inaudible or they just got lucky on it.
Levy will bring the chain gang across the field. You saw the yellow line, and that would indicate that he has enough for the 1st down. The Steelers tonight, 35 yards rushing on 22 carries. And that's a 1st down. So back-to-back 1st downs on the first drive in overtime.
The one thing you do not want to see is an angry Hines Ward coming right here. Check him out on this play. Oh, man, he is devastating. I saw him knock Ed Reed out once on a block where Ed Reed was looking him right in the eyes, and they're standing there, and he just lunged into him and knocked him out cold.
That's a big-time KO. That time he took care of Vincent Fuller. First down, 43-yard line. Moore again. He can't get on track. Stop just after he crosses the line of scrimmage. Jacob Ford, number 78, first to hit him.
Well, I'm all for mixing it up occasionally, but if you had to ask me what's working better, the passing game or the running game, I want that ball in Ben's hands right now because that pass rush has not been getting close. Now 2nd and 9, you open up a lot of possibilities defensively.
Ben 30 out of 39. 2nd and 9. Pass, quick, caught, right side, Hines Ward. Hit by Keith Bullock, and that's going to set up a 3rd and short. 3rd and short, which has been the bane of the Steelers' existence last season and this when they try to run the ball.
I tell you, great veteran players out there making plays. Roethlisberger and Hines Ward both saw the blitz, hit the hot read.
Third down and 2.
And now here we go.
Again.
Silver. 55.
Third and about 1.5 yards.
53, Mike. Mike, set. Middle.
From the shotgun. Here come the Titans. There goes the pass. Santonio Holmes makes the catch. Big first down.
Well, there we go. We talked about it earlier. They go 3 by 1 again. 3 receivers to the top of the screen. Santonio Holmes to the bottom. If you're going to play them one-on-one, they're simply going to throw the football. Just man coverage on the outside. Got exactly what they wanted, but what kind of a statement was that? Shotgun on 3rd and 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Steelers go no huddle to keep Tennessee from substituting. They don't want them rotating.
Got it again.
Holmes at the bottom of the screen. Ward out of the slot. Roethlisberger in trouble. They have him by the shirt. He gets it away, and the pass is incomplete. He's like Iron Man. You can't bring him down.
I'm sure that's what they're thinking, too. Kyle Vanden Bosch looked absolutely exhausted. They thought they had him. I mean, he can throw and contort his body in such strange positions and still get the thing. I mean, that's a sack. I mean, you know, almost every quarterback in the league, when you get 2 hands on him, that's a sack. And Ben gets away again.
2nd and 10.
Not in field goal range.
From the 37, not in the stadium. Over the middle. Caught. 15-yard line. That's Mike Wallace. The rookie from Mississippi. Looked downfield. Looked to his checkoff guy. Went back to Wallace. And now they're in field goal position.
Oh, I tell you what. Big Ben throws this thing kind of flat-footed. And let's give the rookie a lot of credit. Mike Wallace down the field. He saw his quarterback in trouble. He found the open zone. Took off down the field. And Roethlisberger found him. Doesn't look like they're going to fool around at all now.
Nope. It'll be about a 33-yard field goal for Jeff Reed. And a timeout is taken here.
And nobody is wishing this one through more than Hines Ward.
So Pittsburgh takes the timeout. A 33-yard field goal attempt to win the game for Reed.
Welcome to the NFL, though, Mike Wallace. That was a big-time play. Big-time play there for a young guy coming in. His first action, and didn't give him another little pointer, but anytime your quarterback has his arm around you and you have his arm around him, that's a good sign. Not for Chris Johnson, though.
Nope.
Tell you what, the last one he hit was a low liner.
Yes, it was. Sepulveda will put the ball down. Greg Warren will snap it. 33-yard attempt to win the game. He's got it. The Pittsburgh Steelers, very much like last year, defense and Roethlisberger.
Another fourth quarter comeback for Ben Roethlisberger. And for Jeff Reed, this one was dead solid. No doubt. Wouldn't be surprised to see these two teams again somewhere down the road. 2 first-class football teams, and they are both good.
Neither would I. Opening night, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Super Bowl champions, win their 7th straight opener in overtime, 13-10.